Father Charlie, Pieta House charity event today.
It's wonderful. It's brilliant. First of all, congrats to Father John. He's a brilliant guy, a very dynamic guy, and I think we're very lucky to have John in the area. What he's doing, I suppose he's done a lot of stuff, but I suppose this is probably his most high-profile one, and it's for Pieta House. Pieta House locally is based in Tuam. They run a very tailored program, if you like, for people who have suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts. Very successful program. People come from all over the west of Ireland to the particular one in Tuam. And I suppose what Pieta House have done as well is they've highlighted the whole issue, and they've upped the profile of suicide. Suicide prevention, suicide postvention. A lot of other groups involved as well, a lot of other people locally. I suppose the one that I would refer most people to here in Westport would be the Family Centre in Castlebar. It's a project that was set up a good few years ago now by the HSE and the diocese, and they run counselling. They also run the Suicide Liaison project in Mayo, which is an excellent service as it is now, which is an excellent service, which basically where families are bereaved by suicide, the Suicide Liaison service are available to them in any way, and not just to them but to their community as well. So there's so many supports out there at the moment for people who are struggling in any way, and I think the profile of that struggle has been upped, and I suppose a huge effort is being made and has been made to make people realise that, you know, none of us are perfect and all of us are vulnerable, and at some stage out of the blue that vulnerability can hit us for whatever reason. We can be in the middle of a low, or we can be coming down from a high. It could be a sports person, it could be a priest, it could be a politician, whoever it is, and to know that the help is out there and to be able to talk, to be able to ask is absolutely massive. Sometimes in the media there's a bit of a hype. People are kind of maybe sometimes led to believe suicide rates are up. They're not. Suicide rates are maybe lower than they have been, but one is one too many, and we have to continue to keep working in that area, and to continue to keep working until we're in a situation where less and less people, and that's going to be ongoing.
You have an involvement in Westport yourself, is it?
I suppose we started a group here in Westport in 2013. A young man died by suicide, 2014, late 2013. And I suppose a number of people would have, said, this is something that's been ongoing in Westport for probably 10, 15 years. What do we do? And that's very often the reaction, we'll say, in the middle of something, in the middle of an event, everybody wants to do something. Everybody gets, I suppose, heightened awareness levels, heightened anxiety levels around, oh gee, this is in our town again, what are we going to do? So a group of us came together, I suppose, just drawn from different backgrounds, to look, not to reinvent the wheel. I think that was the first thing, and to try to put something together that was Westport focused, Westport centred, and that was tailored for Westport. We were very clear, I suppose, from day one, not to reinvent anything that's there. We have Pieta House, we have Console, we have the Family Centre, we have the Family Resource Centre, we have the HSE, we have Feroiga, we have all these organisations already at work. But I suppose we want to look at what was needed. So one of the first things that we identified was the two programmes which TUSLA now roll out, Assist and Safe Talk, and those are both suicide prevention programs. The first one, we'd say the more basic one, is Safe Talk, and Safe Talk basically gives every person who does it just an awareness around the whole issue, I suppose, to try to demystify the whole thing of suicide. And the second one, Assist, is a 2-day program, which is, if you like, suicide prevention first aid. Very simple. Anybody can do it. And it just, if you meet somebody who tells you they're suicidal or depressed or in a bad place, sometimes people panic, they don't know what to do, and they just, all right, good luck, walk away, or whatever it is. Or just maybe sometimes do the wrong thing. Dr. John Connolly of the Irish Association of Suicidology, I remember a long time ago him saying at a conference, if you don't know what to do, do nothing. So I think those two programs are something that we would encourage, and what we try to do is roll those out in Westport as much as we can. There's been a good uptake in them. We've been at it now for 3 years, about 30 people on every course. We kind of started with people who are available, who are around at night, bouncers, taxi drivers, bar staff. The last 3 people that died by suicide in Westport, as far as I'm aware, the last person that saw them alive was somebody who works at night. So I suppose we went at that. That was the first thing we did, and that's ongoing through social media. A lot of people have latched onto it and they want to do it as well, and that's great. It's brilliant. The more people that does this, the better. And I think there's so much like Pieta House, all these organisations are absolutely brilliant. But what we need to be doing on the ground is ourselves. Every single person in Westport, in Ireland, and wherever it is, needs to be, if you like, a minister or a practitioner of suicide prevention. And the best way for us to do that is to train ourselves. That's very simple. A couple of hours or a couple of days, and it's done. And I think to take away not just the stigma, but the mystery around it as well, and to make people more aware and more comfortable. Another thing that we did in conjunction with Mayo County Council was the Westport directory. If anyone hasn't got one, they're still available in the council offices and in the church. And in that directory, it was not just about businesses, but it was also about the various services that are available. Someone can pick it up, they pretend to nobody, they say, okay, I need to ring this person, I need to ring that person, I need to do whatever, and they can make contact. That was another thing that was done. We're at the moment looking at a survey to see maybe more closely in relation to Westport what needs to be done, what can be done, and all of this stuff is very much ongoing at the moment. Thank God, we never know when it's going to change. We really don't. It could change. It could be changing as we're speaking. But we are in a period, probably the longest period in about 15 years, when there's been no death by suicide in Westport. We thank God for that. We just don't know. We have to keep working at it though, and a lot of it is luck.
Yeah. Seems to be working all right, yeah.
Well, everything is working. I think it's not just this. Like, you know what I mean? This is one thing. This happens to be the thing that I'm involved in. But it's working because I think there's an attitude change among people. And the attitude, I think, is a greater sense of community, a greater sense that people are not isolated and not alone, and that people can go and ask for help. I remember being told by the Family Centre in Castlebar that after the last death by suicide, after the funeral mass, they had, I think, 5 referrals straight from people who were there. You know, that's brilliant. And that people are aware there's help out there. People are aware as well that it's part of life. It doesn't make us a freak. It doesn't make us whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? These labels that can be sometimes very dangerously attached to people. It just makes us normal. It makes us human. It makes us people who are like everybody else who are vulnerable. You know, I always the image of the swan, and I shut up now because John is starting. The swan floats along on the top, but underneath he's peddling like the Dickens. And there's an awful lot of people like that go around, big smile, how's it going, what's the crack? But underneath there's a huge struggle, and people should not struggle alone.
Do you think there's much association between suicide and alcohol?
There's no question about it. I think the statistics are there. The whole thing again, which comes first? You know what I mean? Drink, as you know, is a depressant, but many people use it as an anaesthetic, maybe to escape from the pain. And I suppose when they get down into, I don't know, when they get down into it, as I say, it's an anaesthetic, but then it's a depressant as well. And I think it certainly is. And I think that there was one coroner, I think it was in North Mayo a number of years ago, where 3 out of 4 deaths by suicide were drink. Sorry, I think it was in Galway.
Dr. Loftus.
Were drink related, yeah.